Man, check that out. Sears. Look at how that sign is just like seared into the building. All those memories of times long gone.
Yeah, we're in the Sears parking lot, as you can see by the sign. So I wanted to make a video kind of talking about what are the plans that I have currently for the M2 as far as modifications go. It's currently fall, it is almost winter. Winter is just about here. So now I got to start planning on, do I want to store the car? Do I want to keep driving it in the winter? What do I want to do with the M2, considering I have a daily driver that I could drive through pretty much all winter? And then it kind of begs the question, well, what do I want to do with this car in general? Do I want to modify it? Like what is the plan? So I got a couple plans that I have for this car. So I'm going to kind of go over what I'm going to do with this car. So I guess starting with the inside, and then we'll move on to the outside, and I'll kind of talk about, well, what are we going to do for the winter time?
All right, starting on the inside, the shifter. So I really like the shifter. This was one of the kind of selling points for why I wanted a manual one of these. I really like the way the shifter looks. Like the shape of it's nice. I love the suede Alcantara. I know it's a little bit dirty. I haven't had this car detailed before the winter, so that's kind of a shame. But I really like this. It's kind of that like kind of silvery look in there. I don't know, I just really like the shifter. With that said, I do like the M Performance shifter a little bit more. So the M Performance one is basically, I'll have a picture of it on the screen, but it's like a carbon fiber one. So it's more of like a rounded shaft with like a white piece on top, and the lettering is a lot more kind of subtle and elegant as opposed to this, which is a lot more like bright and in your face, and it has like carbon around the outside, and I really like that shifter.
So that is something I really do want to get on the inside of this car. So that is definitely 100% happening at some point, so we're gonna get that. Now besides that, interior wise, there's really not much that I want to do. Obviously I got to get this car clean, but if you've been watching my videos and you know about my old M2, this part, the carbon fiber, I actually replaced for a glossy trim of carbon fiber. So in the M240i, I had basically this exact OEM piece, except it was a glossy carbon finish instead of the matte finish that you find, or the matte kind of textured finish that you find in the M2s. And I ended up taking that out of my M240i and putting it in my M2. But when that car was sold, I sent it with it, and I kept the OEM parts to sell. I kind of thought, well, what do I want to do with this? Because I wasn't sure if I was going to get another M2 or an M4 that had a different trim inside. So that's why I got rid of it. So this, unfortunately, is going to stay exactly the same. I'm not going to be changing this, but that's fine because the M Performance shifter is going to match that real nicely. That's really it for the interior. There's nothing else I want to do on the interior. I did get a dash cam in here. Let me show you that. So here we go. We have a dash cam. It's a Next-based system. Highly recommend this system. It is fantastic. As you can see, it's now turning on because I tapped it. So it has this really cool feature. I think most dash cams now come with this, but essentially whenever the car is off, if anyone hits your car, dings it, anything like that, it has a G-force sensor in here. So basically if the car gets hit, it'll turn on. You see the little lock on the screen, so it'll lock the footage. So it's a big help if someone, say, backs into you while you're in the store and then you try to drive off, or they try to drive off, boom, you have them on camera. So really awesome. It hasn't really helped me yet, but I guess that's a good thing. Better to never need it than to need it and not have it. So now let's go to the outside of the car. This is where the more exciting things are potentially coming to the M2. Some of them are coming, other things I'm still on the fence about. So let me show you what we have on the outside.
So if you look on the car is in really good shape. It's just really dirty. Now one of the things I didn't realize was that the whole front is actually PPF'd. Now initially, I thought just the bumper was PPF'd. When I was getting the dash cam installed, we found out the front quarter was PPF'd and the hood is PPF'd. So the entire front of the car has PPF on it. So that is a huge, huge plus for the winter. That is awesome. The rest of the car is not PPF'd except for like a little bit of the rear quarter. So let's start with the front, because the front is the most exciting thing in my opinion for what I want to do. On the old M2, these two right here were chrome, and I actually love that these ones are black, so that's perfect. I don't want to change that. That's already pretty much done. Now, the DRLs, the day running lights. I do want to change the DRLs on this car. So they look fantastic as is, but one of the things I do want to really do is I want to get yellow ones. So if you see like the new BMWs, I think the CSs and the CSLs, they have the yellow ones, and man, do they look good. And I saw a couple pictures of yellow ones on some M2s, and I'm like, God, that looks incredible. And most of them were black ones or white ones. I only saw maybe like one in blue. So I'm not 100% sure how it's gonna look, but it is something that I really do want to try. One thing I am really considering on this car is getting competition wheels from the M3 and M4, those like 666M wheels. Those ones look really cool on this car. So I think there's a couple different color options for these 666M wheels. And there's like a black one, a kind of dark steel, and then there's like a silver one. And that silver one, that silver steel, that's the one that I really want to get on this one. I think it's gonna be really good. I've seen some pictures of it and it looks incredible. So that is definitely something I'm considering. They are a step up. They are 20-inch wheels, whereas these ones are 19. I have read that it does change the ride quality a little bit, sizing up to those bigger wheels. They do fit, no problem, but it is something that I have to consider, the ride quality versus the aesthetics. So that is something we're going to think about. Now, on the back of the car, there's really not much else here also that I want to do. So on the old M2, I had the tiny little blue lip spoiler, the one that comes stock on the car, and I had the plastic diffuser. I didn't have the carbon one. On this one, I have both in carbon, so that's already done. So that is a huge, huge plus, saves me a lot of money there. So nothing really there I want to get done. The exhaust, I thought about doing the exhaust, but an M Performance set for this car is just a ridiculous amount of money, and it's not something that I really want to do and put the money in. Now, I am looking, of course, we got to put on the M mirrors because, well, it is an M car. We will be putting on the M mirrors at some point, which is going to look nice on this one because it's going to match all the carbon in the back. Maybe at some point I'll swap the gloss black over here for carbon, but that's something for way down the road. Now I am going to pop the hood on this one. There is one thing that was done on this car that is actually really awesome that it was done. So let me show you what that is. You can see down here is the charge pipe. So the charge pipe was done on this car, which is a huge, huge plus. So if you know anything about the N55 engine, the biggest failure point in this car is the charge pipe. The charge pipe cracks on almost every single M2 on the N55 and even on the M235s. And pretty much all the cars with the N55 engine pretty much all experience the same issue of the charge pipe cracking. So having that done ahead of time is really awesome. So that saves me a lot of money and headache from having to tow my car for brakes and spending the money ahead of time and getting it done. It saves me a lot of money. So all in all, as far as modifications, there's really not much that I want to do to this car. So new wheels, the DRLs, the shifter on the inside. So now let's talk about winter. So we still have the 4S's on this car. Great tires, but the problem is, as you can see, it's getting cold. Winter is coming. It is actually December now, when you're depending on when you're watching this video. It is December, and it's getting cold. So I do have a daily driver, so I can drive the daily driver in the snow. And most likely, what I'm gonna do for this winter is just keep this car as is. I'm not gonna get winter tires for it. I'm probably just gonna ride it out. Probably not gonna drive the car too much this winter. So I'm gonna probably drive it on a day like this where it's maybe 40 or 50 degrees out. I'll drive the car around a little bit, as long as there's no salt on the road, as long as there's no snow, stuff like that. And then next year is when I'm gonna start looking at new tires, new rims, all that kind of stuff. But just because I bought it so close to the fall, I didn't really plan on winter tires. And I could buy them, I can afford them, it's not an issue. It's just, it's such short notice, it's like, oh, I just don't want to deal with it. Considering my last experience, I had a terrible experience on the M240i getting the seasonal changeover. So I went to this place I bought my summer rims from. I'm not going to name the place, but they messed up a couple times. So I had a changeover from my summer set to my winter set, and they tightened the bolt so hard they had to torch it off when they did the next changeover. And on that changeover, they didn't torque all the bolts all the way. So when I was driving, this was literally a day before I was trading the M240i in, because I was getting rid of my summer wheels so I could keep the winter ones for this car, not realizing they won't fit. But anyway, so what happened was I was driving down the road and the car started wobbling and shaking, and I managed to get it to a shop like right before closing, and none of the bolts were torqued. You could literally move them by finger, and it was horrible. Like if I'd gone on the highway, that wheel would have probably come off. I would have probably crashed the car the day before trading it in. It's just a bad experience with the last seasonal changeover, so I just really don't want to deal with changing the wheels over right now. So I'm gonna just ride these ones out through this winter. I'm not gonna go too hard on the car because the tires are never gonna warm up properly. So that's really the main plan for the winter as far as tires go. And yeah, otherwise I'm not really gonna winterize the car. Now the car is due for its 60,000 mile service, so I will be doing a video on what 60,000 miles kind of entails in the M2. So that's getting done this week as well. Not really excited for, well, I am excited for that. It's gonna be a nice refresh for the car, but I'm not excited for the big bill because it's probably gonna be about $1,500 to $2,000 for everything that I'm having done to the car. Plus they're actually checking out my electrical problem because it looks like it has not been fixed by the IBS sensor, which is kind of a shame. Yeah, I'm gonna be getting that done soon, so that's probably gonna be it for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you stopping by on this video. So please leave a like if you like the video. Please consider subscribing if you want to see more on the M2 and whatever else I make videos on in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.